The 52-Story Treehouse. By the creators of the best-selling Treehouse series Andy Griffiths. This is my friend Terry. We live in a tree. Well, when I say tree, I mean treehouse. And when I say treehouse, I don't just mean any old treehouse, I mean a 52-story treehouse. It used to be a 39-story treehouse, but we've added another 13 stories. So what are you waiting for? Come on up. We've added a watermelon smashing room. A chainsaw juggling level. Terry! I just chopped off my nose. I can't hear you, Andy. I chopped off my ears. A make-your-own pizza parlor. He said he was going to take a hap. Have you seen Andy? A rocket-powered carrot launcher. A giant hairdryer that is so strong it practically or blasts the hair right off your head. Check. Check. Double check. Push the calibration wheel to 3.142 and ease the fuel populator to 73. A rocking horse racetrack. My horse rocks. Whoa. Nettie. How come Andy is so far ahead? A haunted house. A wave machine. A life-size snakes and ladders game with real ladders and real snakes. Help, Terry. Get the snake repellent. Andy, get the shake repellent. Jill. Get the shake repellent. A 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, non-stop Punch and Judy puppet show. A remembering booth to help us remember important stuff we might have forgotten. Hurry up. With the mallet. A ninja snail training academy sized. Terry's idea, not mine. Hurry up, Bob. You're very late. And a high-tech detective agency which has all the latest high-tech detective technology, like a complete set of magnifying glasses, including one so small that you need another magnifying glass to see it, a hot donut vending machine. And a Disguise-O-Matic 5000, which has a for every occasion. As well as being our home, the tree house is also where we make books together. I write the words and Terry draws the pictures. As you can see, we've been doing this for quite a while now. Life in the treehouse isn't always easy, of course. No. But one thing is for sure. It's mine. Bring back my watermelon. I can't do that, Andy. I'll get you. Can't catch me. Give me that watermelon. I can't, Andy. I love this watermelon. It's never dull. Chapter 2. The Mystery of the Missing Mr. Big Nose. If you're like most of our readers, you're probably wondering how old we are. Well, it's funny you should be wondering that because today is actually my birthday. I can't wait to see what sort of amazing surprise Terry has planned for me. He's probably in the kitchen baking a cake for me right now. Hang on. I'm in the kitchen, and there's no cake baking going on here. He knows how much I love juggling chainsaws. Maybe he's planning on throwing me a surprise party on the chainsaw juggling level. Nope. There are a few chainsaws, a bit of blood eye and a couple of severed fingers, but no Terry and even worse no party. Perhaps he's planning a make-your-own pizza party. I climb up to the make-your-own pizza parlor, acting like I've got no idea that Terry's waiting for me and, guess what? Okay. I think I know what's going on. I bet I've forgotten all about my birthday and he's in that stupid ninja snail training academy. He's been spending all his time there lately trying to turn a bunch of dumb snails into ninjas, which, of course, as everyone knows, is totally impossible. What snails would look like if you could train them to be ninjas? I climb up to the Ninja Snail Training Academy and, sure enough, there he is. Oh, hi, Andy, says Terry. I'm just training my ninja snails. Watch this. Attack. Fly. Use super ninja stealth. Launch ninja snail Death Stars. Start a ninja decoy fire. Solve a ninja crossword puzzle. Terry, I say, they're not doing anything. Yes, they are, says Terry. They're just doing it really slowly. So slowly you can't see them doing it. This is a complete waste of time. I say. Especially when there are more important things you could be doing. What could be more important than training my snails to be ninjas, says Terry. Let me see, I say. What about remembering important dates? Like today, for example. What's so special about today, says Terry.NUSIL, that's what I want you to tell me, I say. Oh, Terry thinks for a moment and then says, is it underpants changing day? That's every day. I say. Underpants? You mean you're not wearing any? Is it underpants washing day, says Terry. No. Is it wear your underpants on your head day, says Terry. There's no such thing. Yeah, I know, says Terry, chuckling. But wouldn't it be fun if there was? What wear your underpants on your head day would look like if there was such a thing. No, it wouldn't be fun, I say. It would be OGW disgusting. I think you'd better go to the ST remembering booth and remember what day it is. What about my ninja snails, says Terry.IAC, don't worry about them, I say. I'm pretty sure they'll be here when you get back, probably in exactly the same spot. Yes, because I'll tell them to stay, says Terry, turning to the snails. Stay. The snails don't move. Look at that, he says proudly. And you said snails couldn't be trained. We go to the remembering booth. Terry sits down and I lower the cone of remembrance over his head and lock it into position. Okay, I say, it's ready. You can start remembering now. Terry gets a dreamy look on his face. I blew a remember the time we came to the remembering booth to try to remember what was special about today, he says, as images of us climbing up to the remembering booth appear on the screens. How could I ever forget it? I say. Especially since it only happened 1 minute ago. Hang on, I'm remembering something else, says Terry. Remember the time we set the wave machine to the maximum possible size and had that surfing competition and you got wiped out and I won? No, I say, I don't remember that at all. I'm not surprised, says Terry, you hit your head pretty hard on those rocks. Look! I shake my fist at him. I'll hit your head pretty hard in a minute if you don't start remembering what you're supposed to be remembering right now. The day Andy fell off his surfboard and hit his head on the rocks. Terry continues remembering. Remember the time one of the ghosts from the haunted house got out and haunted our toilet, he says. Don't remind me, I say. I was so scared, I needed to go to the toilet, but I couldn't go to the toilet because there was a ghost in there. The day our toilet got haunted. And remember when I put my mouth over the giant hairdryer and my head got really big, says Terry. The day Terry's head got really big. Are you kidding? I say. That was the funniest day ever, especially when I popped it with a pin. The funniest pay ever. Andy, says Terry. I've just remembered something else. Is it to do with me? Yes. To cash Pat Yarent well, I say, what is it? I seem to remember that I vowed to get revenge on you for popping my head with a pin. Never mind that now, I say. Do you remember anything else about me? Anything at all? Yes, I do, says Terry. And it's quite important, too. At last. Good work, Terry, I say. Well? We're supposed to be writing a book, he says. And it's due any day now. Terry's absolutely right. We are supposed to be writing a book and it is due any day now. It's strange Mr. Big Nose hasn't called to remind us, I say. Yeah, says Terry. We're already up to page 54. And he usually calls around page 30. Maybe we'd better call him, I say, and remind him to call us to remind us when our book is due, otherwise we'll never get it done in time. Good idea, says Terry. We go to the 3D video screen and call Mr. Big Nose. We see his office, but we can't see Mr. Big Nose. What we can see, though, are overturned chairs, broken trophies, books all over the floor and what looks like vegetable leaves everywhere. Boy, he sure has a messy office, says Terry. That's no ordinary mess, I say. That is what is known in the detective trade as signs of a struggle. What sort of struggle, says Terry. Load. That's exactly what we need to find out, I say. Yay, says Terry. We've got a mystery to solve, oh, a big one. The mystery of the missing Mr. Big Nose. We'd better get to our high-tech detective agency and get high-tech detecting immediately. I say. Should I go and get the ninja snails, says Terry. No, I say, they'll just slow us down. But they're ninjas, says Terry. They're also snails, I say. Come on, we've got no time to lose. Chapter 3. Andy and Terry's high-tech detective agency. I don't know whether or not you have your own high-tech detective agency, but if you do, you'll probably know that it can take a long time to get in because of all the high-tech security. I'm not just talking about boring, old-fashioned big toe recognition security either. I'm talking big toe, middle toe, little toe, whole foot, lower leg, upper leg, left buttock, right buttock, lower back, middle back, upper back, chest, arms, neck and head recognition security. Not to mention hair analysis, blood tests, retinal scans, a dance contest, and a really hard Andy and Terry trivia quiz. By the time we finally get in, we're pretty hungry. Let's have a donut, says Terry. Good idea, I say. No detective ever solved a mystery without the help of a hot jam donut. We eat our donuts and think, and think, and think, and think. Well, I say. What do you think? I think I'd like another donut, says Terry. Me too, I say. We get 2 more hot jam donuts and continue thinking. And thinking and thinking and thinking. Well, I say. What are you thinking? About what, says Terry. About how to solve the mystery of the missing Mr. Big Nose, I say. Beats me, shrugs Terry. I haven't got a clue. That's it, I say. You haven't got a clue. I haven't got a clue. We haven't got any clues. We can't solve a mystery without clues. But where do we get clues from, says Terry. From the scene of the crime, of course. I say. We've got to go to Mr. Big Nose's office. Great, says Terry. Let's ride there on our flying there of beetroots. We can't, I say. They disappeared about a week ago. Another mystery, says Terry, frowning. The mystery of the missing flying beetroots. Yes, I say, but we have to solve the mystery of the missing Mr. Big Nose first. We'll take the flying fried egg car to his office. No problem, says Terry. I'll just choose a suitable disguise. All right, I say, but make it fast. We don't want the clues to go cold. Sure, Andy, says Terry, heading for the Disguise-O-Matic 5000. I'm climbing into the flying fried egg car when somebody taps me on the shoulder. I turn around. .92. It's an old man. Who are you? I say. Don't you recognize your best friend? Chuckles the old man. It's me, Terry. I'm in disguise. Terry, I say. Quit mucking around. This is I serious. Terry? Terry? He's gone again. In his place is a big, fat, slimy frogpotamus. Yuck! I hate those things. Get out of here! I yell. Didn't you read our last book? The treehouse is a frogpotamus-free zone. Relax, says Terry, stepping out of the frogpotamus costume. It's just me again. I step forward to throttle him, but I find my hands clutching a metal pole instead of his neck. I look up. It's a stop sign. Terry? I call. Where are you? Right here, says the stop sign. Terry peels off the costume and laughs. Gotcha! Stop doing that. I say. Stop what? He says. Stop dressing up like a lace stop sign and stop playing with the Disguise-O-Matic 5000. It's a high-tech detective tool, not a toy. Sorry, he says, but once you start it's hard to stop. Get it? Yes. Then why aren't you laughing? Because it's not funny. Yes, it is. No, it's not. Yes, it is. Stop saying yes, it is. I say. It's not funny. Yes, it is, Terry insists. I dressed up like a stop sign and you told me to stop dressing up like a stop sign and... Excuse me, Terry, I say. I'm very sorry to have to do this. What? He says. This, I say, giving him a short, sharp tap on the head with a magnifying glass. Thanks, says Terry. I needed that. Don't mention it, I say. That's what friends are for. Come on. To the flying fried egg car. We jump in and pull the yoke down tightly over the top of us. I press extra sizzle on the control panel. And we take off through the concealed flying fried egg car hatch in the top of the detective agency. The day we flew our flying fried egg car to Mr. Big Nose's office and nobody knew it was US because they all just thought it was a flying fried egg. We fly through Mr. Big Nose's window and park next to his bookshelf. Terry takes out the two biggest magnifying glasses and starts looking for clues. Very interesting, he says. I see a magnifying glass. I see a hand holding a magnifying glass. I see an arm attached to a hand that's holding a magnifying glass. This is a definite clue, Andy, a very definite clue. Yes, I say, a very definite clue that you are very definitely an idiot. Well, I don't see you doing any detecting, says W. Terry, peering at me through the second biggest magnifying glass. BBYUIVIST Fieldstogs V. Give me that thing, I say, snatching it off him. I scan the office. Wood. There's a book lying on the floor next to Mr. Big Nose's desk. I pick it up and examine it closely. What is it? Says Terry. It appears to be a book about vegetables. Vegetables? Says Terry. Yuck! I hate annealing vegetables. I know, I say. And so do I. But we have to look at it. It might be a clue. Dedicated to my darling parents, squashed but not forgotten. Hi, Vegetable Patty here. As we all know, vegetable fighting is a serious business, but that doesn't mean it can't be fun. Don't believe me? Well, read my book. Boil them. Broil them. Salt and oil them. Crunch them. Munch them. Knock out punch them. Grab them. Stab them. Shish kebab them. Throw them. Mow them. Taekwondo them. Kick them. Flick them. Pogo stick them. Mash them. Smash them. Whip and lash them. Whack them. Smack them. Snaplock sack them. Crush them. Meta. Mush them. Drown and flush them. That's enough, Andy, says Terry, his hands over his eyes. I can't take any more. It's too violent. I never thought I'd say this, but I actually feel sorry for those poor vegetables. Me too, I say. It's kind of weird to feel sorry for something you hate so much. I know, says Terry, but whoever wrote this book must hate vegetables even more than we do. You can say that again, I say. Is hands over whoever wrote this book must hate vegetables. Even more than we do, he says. Terry. I say. I didn't mean for you to actually say it again, but I'm kind of glad you did. Why? Because it's true, whoever wrote this book must hate vegetables even more than we do. Chapter 5. Sleeping Jill. So, do you think the book is a clue? Says Terry. Does it have something to do with Mr. Big Nose's disappearance? Maybe, I say. It was published by Mr. Big Nose, but it still doesn't explain where he is. We need to keep looking. Terry holds up a magnifying glass and continues investigating. Look at this pen, he says. It's huge. And look at this trophy. It's gigantic. And look at this paperclip. It's massive. Terry? I say. Terry turns to me, still looking through the magnifying glass. Yikes, he says. You're enormous too. No, I'm not, I say, and neither is that paperclip. You're just looking at everything through your biggest magnifying glass. Aha, says Terry. Another mystery solved. Yes, I say, but not the right one. We're supposed to be figuring out the mystery of the missing Mr. Big Nose, not the mystery of why everything looks enormous to you. Oh yeah, says Terry. Good point. Terry peers at a large lettuce leaf on Mr. Big Nose's desk. Look at this caterpillar, he says. I think it might be a clue. It's trembling like it's frightened. Whatever happened to Mr. Big Nose, this little guy must have seen the whole thing. If only caterpillars could talk, I say. They can, says Terry. It's just that we can't understand them. If only we knew somebody who could understand caterpillars, I say. Somebody like Jill, says Terry. Somebody exactly like Jill, I say. Hey, I know, says Terry. Why don't we get Jill to talk to the caterpillar? No, I've got a better idea, I say. Why don't we get the caterpillar to talk to Jill? But that's the same as my idea, says Terry. Sort of, I say, but mine's better. We've got to get this caterpillar to Jill so it can tell her what happened to Mr. Big Nose so we can find him and remind him to remind us about our deadline so that we can finish this book. That sounds complicated, says Terry. Not at all, I say. It's elementary, my dear H.T. Denton. To the flying fried egg car. Up and away. The day we flew our flying fried egg car to Jill's house and nobody knew it was US because they all thought it was just a flying fried egg. We land outside Jill's house, or at least where we think her house is. It's hard to tell because her garden is very overgrown. Wow, says Terry. Jill has really let this place go. Yes, I say. I can't even see how we're going to get in. I can't even see how she would be able to get out, says Terry. Maybe she can't, I say. I mean, have you seen her lately? No, says Terry. Have you? Not for a while, now that I think about it. All the times we haven't seen Jill lately. Pet fashion parade. I'm surprised Jill's not here. Looks like we have another mystery to solve. I say. The mystery of why we haven't seen Jill lately. Yay, says Terry. And I've got just what we need to solve it. He reaches into a bag and pulls out 2 safari suits and 2 razor-sharp machetes. He hands me one of each. Thanks, Terry. I say. Don't thank me, he says. Thank the Disguise-O-Matic 5000. I grabbed a bag of takeaway before we left. We put on our safari suits and use our machetes to start hacking into the plants surrounding Jill's house. We hack. And chop. And cut. And thwack. And hack. Until, finally, we find ourselves at the front door. We ring the doorbell but nobody answers. So we chop. And cut. And thwack. And hack. Until, at last, we smash through the door into Jill's house and this is what we see. They're asleep. I say. I'm surprised the noise we made chopping and cutting through the door didn't wake them up. Yeah, says Terry. Not to mention the thwacking and hacking. We go into the kitchen and find Jill. She's fast asleep too. Wake up, Jill, I say, shaking her shoulder. Wake up! But she doesn't wake up. She's not waking up, says Terry. I can see that. I say. Shoo, Andy, says Terry. You'll wake her up. That's exactly what I want to do. I yell. But even my yelling doesn't wake her up. We try everything we can think of: megaphones, gongs, air horns, electric guitars, jackhammers, dynamite. Boom! But nothing works. Not even poking. I say, this is no ordinary sleep. This is what's known in the storytelling trade as enchanted sleep, like in Sleeping Beauty. Oh, I love that story, says Terry. But it's scary when the barn catches fire and the horses are all frightened. That's Black Beauty. I say. Sleeping Beauty is a fairy tale about a princess with a curse on her who pricks her finger on a very sharp spindle and falls asleep for 100 years. But there's nothing that looks like a very sharp spindle here, says Terry, examining the table with a magnifying glass. Well, nothing except this sharp carrot. Good detecting, Terry. I say. Jill must have a curse on her and she pricked her finger on that carrot. But why would Jill have a curse on her, says Terry. I don't know, I say. Looks like we have another mystery to solve. Yay, says Terry. But poor Jill. Will she have to sleep for 100 years? Not necessarily, I say. In the fairy tale, Sleeping Beauty is woken by a kiss. Yuck, says Terry. I'm not kissing her. It's okay, I say. I'll do it. I lean down, close my eyes as tight as I can, and put my lips on her cheek. It's not working, says Terry. She's not waking up. It might be because I'm not a handsome prince, I say. It's usually a handsome prince who does the kissing in fairy tales. Well, I guess we need a handsome prince then, says Terry. But where will we find one of those? What about that castle? I say. What castle? Says Terry. That castle. I say, pointing to a castle on a distant hill just visible through Jill's overgrown window. Oh, that castle, says Terry. Funny, but I've never noticed it before. Me neither, I say, but it sure looks like the sort of castle where you'd find a handsome prince. Grab Jill, put her in a glass coffin, get the caterpillar and let's go. Andy, says Terry. There's one small problem. What's that? I say. The caterpillar has eaten our flying fried egg car. Chapter 6. Journey to the castle. Well, that's just great, I say, looking at the remains of our flying fried egg car. How are we supposed to get to the castle now? Don't worry, says Terry. I've got just the thing. He reaches into his bag and pulls out a horse costume. How is that going to help us get to the castle? I say. Simple, says Terry. You put it on and I'll ride. You there. Terry hands me the costume. Nah, I say, handing it back. How about you put it on and I ride you there? I've got a better idea, says Terry, passing the costume back to me. How about we take turns? Great idea, I say. And since you thought of it, you can go first. Thanks, Andy, says Terry, taking the costume. You're a real pal. He puts it on and we set off. What a lovely day for horse riding, I say. OOTSMMO, is it your turn to be the horse yet? Says Terry. No, not yet, I say. How's the caterpillar? Says Terry. Good, I say. I think it's really enjoying the ride. I sure hope we don't come across anything that would be hazardous to caterpillars on our journey, says Terry. Me too, I say, as an enormous black bird swoops down towards us. Are birds hazardous to caterpillars? Says Terry. Yes. I say. I reach out to put my hand over the caterpillar, but before I can cover it, the caterpillar rears up, opens its mouth, and swallows the bird in one gulp. What happened? Says Terry. Is the caterpillar okay? It's fine, I say. But that bird's not doing so well. The caterpillar just ate it. I never thought a caterpillar could eat a bird, says Terry. Neither did I say. It must be a bird-eating caterpillar. We continue along the road and come to a sharp bend. We hear a loud, rumbling noise. What do you think that is? Says Terry. I may be wrong and I hope I am, I say, but it sounds like two steamrollers having a race. You're right, says Terry, as two steamrollers come speeding around the bend towards us. Start galloping, I say to Terry, as fast as you can. Terry looks around frantically. I can't gallop, he says. I'm not a real horse, you know. Then we're doomed, I say. If the first EML steamroller doesn't squash us flat, the second one will for sure. At that moment, the caterpillar jumps off Terry's head, leaps down onto the road and starts inching its way towards the steamrollers. No, says Terry, putting his hooves over his eyes. I can't bear to look either. I turn away and prepare myself for the sound of a caterpillar being squashed by two speeding steamrollers, but instead I hear the sound of a caterpillar burping. Burp! I look up. The steamrollers are nowhere to be seen and the caterpillar is licking its tiny little lips. I don't believe it, I say. It ate two speeding steamrollers. That caterpillar saved our lives, says Terry. That's weird, I say. I can smell rhinoceroses. Yeah, me too, says Terry. And I can see them. 3 big ones charging right at us. But before we even have time to panic, the caterpillar rears up and opens its mouth wide. Wow. I've never seen a caterpillar eat 3 charging rhinoceroses before, says Terry. What about 4 wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube men? I say. Nope, I haven't seen that either, says Terry. Why do you ask? Because there are 4 of them blocking the road ahead. Cool, says Terry. I love those guys. So does the caterpillar, I say. Look at it go! Those poor wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube men, says Terry. They didn't deserve to die like that. What about those 5 giant mutant spiders? I say. They definitely deserve to die like that, says Terry. Go, little caterpillar, go! It's lucky we brought this caterpillar with us, says Terry. This is the most dangerous road ever. There ought to be a warning sign. There is, I say. Look! Warning! Enormous birds. Speeding steamrollers charging rhinoceroses, wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tubmen and giant mutant spiders use this road. Watch out! We walk on. I'm tired, says Terry. Is it your turn to be the horse yet? Not yet, I say. Besides, we're almost there. On the hill ahead of us is the castle. It's surrounded by a wall of asparagus spears. Gee, they've really gone with the vegetable sit theme, haven't they? Says Terry. That's because it's a vegetable castle, says our wrinkled old tomato sitting by the side of the road. A vegetable castle? I say. Yes, it sprouted a few days ago, says the tomato. It's part of Prince Potato's vegetable kingdom, and great. I say. We need a prince to wake our friend here from her enchanted sleep. Giddy up, Terry! Not so fast, says the tomato, blocking our way. Then what are you doing here? I say. You're not a vegetable. You're a fruit. I am so a vegetable, says the tomato. When was the last time you ate a tomato for dessert? You have fruit for dessert. Tomatoes are strictly main course. But you have seeds and you grow from the flowering part of a plant, says Terry, which technically makes you a fruit. You want to get technical, says the tomato, nody growing quite red in the face. Well, let me tell you, buddy, that no less an authority than the United States Supreme Court has ruled that a tomato is a W vegetable for the purposes of customs regulations, so there. Okay, I say, trying to calm it down. If say you're a vegetable, then you're a vegetable even if you do have seeds. Don't talk to me about seeds, spits the tomato. Cucumbers have seeds and you never hear anybody calling them a fruit. And peppers have hundreds of seeds, but nobody would mistake one of them for a fruit. And what about squash? Seeds. Seeds all the way through. And don't even get me started on rutabagas. What is a rutabaga? Whispers Terry. I don't know, I say. But I get the feeling we're about to find out. Terry sighs. We're never going to get to that castle. Shoo! I